Hey, Dramatic. So, welcome back. We have just finished episode 2020. No, just 20. Till the End of the Moon. And, Bestie, what did you think of this one?
This was such a sweet episode. Just the pining and the longing. And it's like, why are they not sending me letters anymore? They sent me letters like 4 times just yesterday. Like, what's happening? Watching her struggle with, do I actually like him? Or am I just fulfilling my mission? I need to get these heart spikes, but why isn't he writing me though?
It's like, especially in this minute, why isn't he writing me? It's like, she sent, up to like 4 in one day?
Mm-hmm.
I guess like with him being hesitant to write, it's going back to like the last episode, and of course what had happened earlier in this episode. It's just that it reminded me of when her family arrived to the kingdom of Jing, and she kissed him out of gratitude on his cheek, and he was just questioning, why did you kiss me? Is this like out of gratitude of just your family, or is it gratitude for me? And we were established like it can be both in this situation, but he's just like, where is more of your emotions going toward or gearing towards that, or any emotion towards me? Is there any emotion towards me? And he kind of like brought that back up again this episode, where he asked her directly after he was trying to woo her back with some gifts and stuff, because he had asked the Miss Seductive Fox, like, how do I woo this lady? He's like, can I like her? And she was like, yeah, go ahead. Like, and so he's like, I'm gonna make her fall in love with me. So I'm gonna buy everything on these streets and like go ahead and bequeath her with that. But of course, like, Lisa Su being in true form was just like, no, all these materialistic things is not for me. This isn't what I want.
Yeah.
So he asked her finally, just like, what is it that you truly like? It was like, nature, and reflecting on my childhood, not the childhood that I know, but I love how open she was with her true self, not the Yeshua self.
Yeah.
Or like creating or making up something just to guide him along or to like lead him on. She was like, no, she was being truthfully authentic about what she actually missed about her home, about wanting to take him to the lake and to see the stars and the fireflies and stuff there. And it's just like, oh, and I think she also said that just out of just genuinely wanting to take him there without really thinking about like,
for my mission.
Yeah,
like,
for the mission, the mission default.
Like, it felt natural. Like, she had felt so comfortable in that moment, and just sitting with him like by the pond, and she's just like rattling off all these things, and she has to kind of stop herself and be like, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah.
But she's too like wrapped up in the moment.
I would be too if like someone created fireflies at my whim, I wish.
Right.
So
it was like he was genuinely listening and actually paying attention to her, and what I did like about what Tensai Jin did, like, he was actually listening. He wasn't just, well, I'm going to get her this, I'm going to get her all these things, and just impose what he thinks that she wants. Like, he actually takes the time to really hear her out. Like, yeah, I like this and I like this, and he's actually paying attention. And I really like that, because I've seen way too many dramas where it's like, I'm just going to throw her some clothes, I'm going to give her more extravagant gifts, and that's not what she wants at all. Like, those things are nice, but at the end of the day, like, having someone that you can be emotionally vulnerable with, you can be comfortable with, and just sharing yourself naturally without putting on an act. It's just like, we're just coming together, we're bonding, we're like growing closer, and it's just so nice seeing them, like, both of them are struggling. Okay, are these feelings real? Am I making this up? Is it part of some other grand plan that I don't know about? And watching them, both of them, kind of go back and forth. It's like, no, she's just being nice to me because I did XYZ for her. That's just, and it's not like, business. She loves you, dumbass.
I mean, but that's the thing, she can't contend with that. Yeah. And of course, reflecting back to what she didn't do and answer him, because the next day was like her birthday, and so he entreated her to go and spend time with her family. And she was like, well, why don't you come with me? He went with her, but stayed in the carriage because of how her family had treated them. But what we really thought was endearing about the family was finally admitting, especially grandma and dad, was just like, yeah, we messed up. We treated this man horribly, especially that one. That one still hadn't apologized, the older brother, but whatever.
Yeah.
But he kind of ducked his head. The thing about it is, they're coming to that conclusion right now of feeling apologetic and open about their mistreatment of him. But I'm just like, on the same token, if he was still living with you as is, he would still be in the same situation.
Basically.
And if he didn't have this power, especially on y'all's survival and getting y'all to the Gene Kingdom, putting you up nicely, you would not be having this nice thing to say. Let us be honest.
Yeah. And it's one thing that we did talk about was like, that's great that they're acknowledging the fact that, you know, they kind of did him wrong. But I wish they had gone out to see him and be like, hey, we're sorry. And like, apologize. And I think what kind of annoys me is I don't think they really think how bad they've treated him until they see Susu coming home and she's all happy and bright and she's like, oh, she's losing weight, da, 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 but she looks so happy and she's overjoyed, and seeing how well she's being treated by him, even though the family didn't treat him right, it's like, I hate that it took that moment for them to hit like, oh wait, we really
messed up.
We really messed him up. The fact that he came all the way down here anyway, regardless of the trauma that we inflicted on him, but he doesn't want to come inside. Like, I wish they had come out to see him or like actually like formally apologize. And maybe we'll get that moment. Maybe they're not there yet, but I was just like, that would have been great for you to actually go tell him directly.
Right.
Especially because, you know, and they did acknowledge like, yeah, he put this up in this nice mansion. He didn't have to do that. And meanwhile, with the King of Shang treating Bing Chan,
Bing Chong and his own son, but I was like, I guess like we'll get to that in a little bit, but I guess we need to like cover the last little bit of after all of this. Like he took Yishu or Lee Su to the burial building where his family is buried, especially his mother. He always wanted to go since he was little. He came with her and they were holding hands going through there. I know like a lot of people could think this as being morbid. They bow, you know, pay the respects, and you know, he greets his mother and she's all just like, yeah, I'm your daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
He's the king. I am so proud of him. And he's just like, why are you taking can I talk to my mom?
You can tell like he's low-key like, oh my god, like,
I know,
she thinks I'm amazing.
It's like, I know, he's up there feeling himself, and then after that he was kind of like, you pick whichever spot here where you want to be buried. And she's like, you're acting as if this is going to be a forever thing. And this is when he was really candid, where he's just like, do you like me?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you're my husband. She tried to skirt around the answer. I'm like, you know, that's not what he was asking.
Right. Right. And seeing her again sort of struggle, because she's like, I can't really lead him on. You know, it's like, yeah, we're married. Of course I have to like you. And it's like, no, not because of the marriage. Do you actually like me? And I really do respect that. Like, he doesn't play games. He's like, look, I just need to know. Let me know where I stand. Right. And then we can figure out the rest. Because his, you know, there's several instances throughout this episode where he's clutching his heart. So you could tell like the heart spikes are like kind of like working their magic.
Or like his heartstrings.
Yeah, the heartstrings. And so you could tell like they're sort of like forming and stuff, like things are happening. And, you know, with everything that he's been through in his life, I can understand he's trying not to set himself up for disappointment.
Right.
So it's like, you know what, let's just lay it out on the table. Let me know how you feel. Right. And even when she can't really answer, and he kind of understands, you know, given their history and everything, because, you know, that whole couple of you know, years being mistreated and
it'll do something on them and stuff. So I understand that.
And that's not something that you can easily erase, but I do like that he's confronting her like head on, like, okay, this is. And I think once he knows for sure where she stands, he'll be a lot more forthcoming about his feelings. But you don't want to show your hand too soon. And he's a master of like chess and all that. So it's like he doesn't want to show his hand until he sees hers, which makes sense.
And it does, because I'm like, it's the same in love and war. It is both the same. And I also know like he probably is not sure when the other shoe is going to drop, because I'm like, she had also left him before he could really like recognize what his feelings were regarding her. He still missed her. He still pined for her. He was searching the entire kingdom and kingdoms for her. But now there's a little bit more of established feelings now that they've been doing this reciprocal exchange back and forth regarding, you know, these trade of goods and experiences and times, and of course the love story during the dream sequence.
Yeah.
And so now we have all of that built together to where now he's wanting to know where he stands, to where it's like, where can I improve from here? Where can I change your mind? Where can I get you to eventually love me?
Yeah.
And it's like, and he said it takes time, it's baby steps. And so he's like, and that's okay, because as long as she's still here with him, he's fine with that.
Yeah.
But of course, he's not able to do that for long because he has to go to Geopass.
Yeah, because King Shang is
God.
being really stupid.
Per usual.
And sending his son pretty much on a suicide mission. And all of his men are kind of freaking out because, like, they're running out of provisions. They're losing a lot of people. And at this point, it's like, Tenzai Jin knows every move that they're going to make.
Has even, like, moved some of the chess pieces on the board deliberately.
Yeah,
too.
just to see how they would respond. So,
Stupidly, but
he has the situation under control. And we were talking about how bad we felt for Xiaolin because he's in a bad spot because it's like, he's very, moral. He wants to be a very filial son and respect and honor his father's wishes.
Even though he don't like his father, he knows his father's being unreasonable.
Yeah, like one of the couriers or whatever, the messengers, like he orders him to be beaten only because, like, he questioned the king's authority and like was like, hey, you're not being rational about this, like trying to kind of talk some sense to him, like.
And he was returning the message that Sholin had also did that. So, and the king was just like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and have you club death. And we were also talking about how it's interesting how this man has been dictating wars from his throne, behind his throne,
yes,
up there dictating orders and whatnot. I'm like, you're not on the front lines at all. Mm-hmm. So you don't even know what the dire situation is. And Pierre, like, poor Sholin is up there trying to measure his things about, like, okay, if we do the river, maybe we can, like, pretend we're about to cross the river, but we can go another front. And, like, his other, like, second in command's like, we don't have another general. All the generals are either have retired or don't want to do this, or they have gone to the other kingdom, just like Yeshua's father had. It's like, we don't have any other choices here. There's not much to spread us around. Unfortunately, the Emperor of Shang commanded him, Shaolin, to go ahead and just move on north and pretty much march to his death. That's pretty much what he commanded his son to do.
And he's gotten more and more uncontrollable and just
he's
paranoid. And we were talking about how, what if is his way of, like, low-key trying to get Shaolin killed, because every time Shaolin's like, hey, this is not a good idea, we need to rethink our strategy, like, the king flies off the handle. And I don't think Shaolin would do it, but we were talking about Bing Chan, and we're going to talk about her more specifically in a little bit, because her story arc kind of takes place in the latter, like, couple minutes, and there's some things happening where the king is ordering her to be kind of by the queen's side at all times. So
almost like a hostage.
Yeah. And we were like, yeah, what if he's going to try to use her to try to keep Shaolin in line? Because, he's trying to listen to his men. He's trying to be fair and think of all these little rational steps to take. But the problem is Tenzai Jin is already 4 steps ahead of him. And every single option that there is going to lead to mass casualties for his men. Correct. So it's an unwinnable situation. And when the battle, they finally kind of meet together at Gia Pass, and you know what? Tenzai Jin's up at the front. Like,
I mean, he comes down like a badass. I have to say that. Like, he came down and was pretty much had, blown his men off the wall. And he came down and just said, Sholin, just come talk to me.
Right.
This is between you and me. And he told him up front, just like he had told Qing Yu also, like, episodes ago, like, this is a battle you will not win. And you already know that your father forced you up here for a losing battle. And he was just like, if you just surrender to the Jin Kingdom, I will make sure you are on the throne. And we have nothing else to discourse. But of course, Sholin was just like, well, on the opposite end of that, if you just go ahead and surrender to the Shin Kingdom, we can make sure that you are a lord of some sort. I'm like, you will not let this man live. What are you talking about?
And let's be real, the king would not let him live.
That's the thing.
And for him to even try to attempt that was just kind of weak on his part, because he already knows his dad, how he has been responding. I'm like, he's that threatened by you. Imagine how he's threatened by someone who literally,
Right.
like, hey, I'm going to take all you guys in if you want to.
Right.
I'm going to take all your generals if you want to. Even your top general, he can come on over too. We got free health care and paid maternity leave and universal health care. Like, it's great. So it's like literally tells Shaolin, he's like, look, your kingdom, your empire will only last maybe a couple of days at most with the rate that you're going.
Right.
You have a chance to change things and save your people, and wasn't even trying to fuck with him. He is trying to keep this as bloodless as possible, because when he shows up, he blows the men away, not as like, hey,
a big show of power.
Right. He's just like, I need y'all to be a safe distance away. Shaolin's army's like prepared to attack at any moment. He's like, no. We're going to try to make this bloodless. We're going to try to talk through this. And you can see kind of the wheels turning, like, because he's like, oh, shit, he's right. Like, he can't deny that. But at the same time, it's like, I got to defend my father.
Because he's doomed either way. He can't come back in shame. He can't be like another King Yu. He can't do that.
Exactly.
Especially since, like, his father would execute him. Because it's not like his father doesn't have another heir for the throne.
Right.
So, good, bad, or indifferent how he feels about Pig Prince, that's to be seen. But I know with him, he knows that he will continuously do the right thing, even at the expense of Shaolin's own life. So,
yeah.
Of course, like, since he refused to back down, him and Tentai Jin duke it out in battle.
Yeah. And
stuff. And you can tell with a lot of the shots that Tentai Jin mostly had sent Shaolin's way, it was more or less like things that it was either shot at his feet or like one or two that he can block.
Right.
It wasn't anything to hurt him until he sent that sword his way and then realized he had the heart scale protecting thing on him that protected him from being impaled by it.
Yeah.
The battle had dispersed and the Shin Kingdom's troops, they retreated, and so did Tentai Jin, so they're holding at the wall. And I think, like, Shaolin's just trying to collect himself on what to do. But he does send Bing Chong back to the palace at his father's request, because his father requested for her to be brought palace side. And he said this is more for her protection, because, not sure when Tentai Jin was going to, like, overtake the city that they were currently in. And after that, it would be, like, the last threshold, I guess, for the Shin Kingdom before it just falls. So he's like, this is for your own good. But I'm like, yeah, we also know that your father wanted her there just for, like you said, keep you in line.
Yeah. He still kind of is not a fan of this marriage and still sees her as a traitor that is loyal to her family and not to the Kingdom of Shang.
And a lot of people in the palace thinks that way, because they're talking crap about her family.
Yeah, and almost to her face, honestly. And it does not help, with her family defecting over to the Jing, or fleeing, I guess I should say, because really they didn't deflect. They had to, otherwise they would have been murdered. It's so funny because it's like, I don't think the king is aware of Bing Chan's relationship with her family at all.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Her name is still Yi. That's all that matters.
And she hasn't done anything wrong, but we get some snippets based on, like, the dialogue and stuff that she's kind of being put in a very shitty part of the palace, because they're talking about all these roof leaks and all this other stuff.
So it's like, we were asking, like, was she put in the same place where Tentai Jin and his nanny was? Or unless the nanny is still in her spot, I don't know. But I'm like,
it sounds like she's living somewhere like close to like servants or something. Because it's bad conditions. She seems like she's getting a little bit weak and not doing well. And she has this kind of like, her and Shaolin have like this little moment of kind of reminding her, like, I could die at any time. I could die in battle. It just is part of the deal that goes with being in my position. This part was so sad because he was like, if I do die, I don't want you to stay a widow. I want you to find someone and marry them and be happy. And she's like, no, I'm going with you. If you go out, I'm going with you. Because, she reminds us once again, because of, the time period and who she is, like, she has to rely on a man for power. And there's this weird kind of, there's a turn that the conversation takes, like, when she's like talking about, oh, well, we'll patch the roof leaks, we'll do all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And there's something that she mentioned about power. And for some reason, I'm getting some very sinister feelings that something's going to happen. Either she's going to kill the king, either accidentally or intentionally or something, because she has sort of like this resolve. She's like, no, I'm not going without Shaolin. So if something happens to him, I could see her
going ham.
Mm-hmm. Or using whatever power and skill she has to
get stuff done, or to revenge him if necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, she will do that. And like you had said, I understand the place that she's coming from.
Right.
But she was giving me some Teen Juan feelings where she's like, well, if something happens to you,
what happens to me?
And like, and she said that twice.
Right.
Because she's like, I can't depend on Shaolin all the time. Like, I'm going to have to make other major turns on my own.
Right.
By my own orchestration. So she kind of had this look of just like, yeah, I'm being weak now with, with her servant and stuff like that. But it's one of those things like, but I'm going to get something done. Don't you forget for a second that I'm going to stand here and be all weak sauce. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, because we were wondering when that side of her was going to kick in.
It's coming. It's coming soon.
It's coming soon, because the way that she looked like she was about to do some murdering. And, it's like, I low-key respect it, because Shaolin's father is an idiot. Like, right. I hate to say that, but I'm like, he's paranoid, and I think he was fully prepared to have Bing Chan killed at any second if Shaolin steps out of line. I think he was ready for that.
Well, he's ready for that anyway. He's ready to kill everybody. But again, we were talking about it again, where I'm like, dude, your court is so empty. Yeah. There's only servants left in there and messengers that you take out to kill. I'm like, well, there's one more person that's not going to be paying taxes.
Right?
Like, are you kidding me? And you wonder why it's hard to keep anybody. You have zero retainers because you don't know how to treat anybody. You send people to their death willy-nilly here. Mm-hmm. Wasn't he accusing like the same messenger or somebody else about like how dare people question him as if I'm just they're sending my people to death and stuff like that?
That's literally what you're doing.
You absolutely
and Shaolin brings that up every time. It's like, we don't need to have all this senseless violence and death. And one of the things that Hentai Jin came up with, because he was like, yeah, I don't really want to be in charge of your people, but we can combine our forces together. You are a great leader. And he acknowledged that you're a great leader. You care about your people.
Right.
But your dad, in the state that he's in right now, it's going to fall. Mm-hmm. And he... Yeah, so, and he was trying to reason with him, and I could see, like, Shaolin's like, he's like, you're right, but I can't do this.
I can't be unfeeling. I'm like, oh, that unmoving,
it's
dutiful son. But I'm like, man, you can be an undutiful son, but what about your people?
What about your people? And I think at some point he did say that. He's like, you don't care about your people if you're letting your dad and his crazy policies dictate your life. And it's so interesting to see like his greatest trait become his Achilles heel at the same time.
Oh, absolutely.
And that struggle of, how do I still be loyal and faithful to my dad, but do what I know that I need to do is right.
Yeah.
And because his men are like, yeah, we're scared, we're freaking out. One of the options to kind of invade the Jin Kingdom, they're like, yeah, we can wait until the river freezes. And I'm like, oh my God, like that, by that point people will be dying, and that could take months. But if it's that cold that the whole river is freezing, people will die.
Right.
And
absolutely.
So it's just like, I don't know, it's dire. And for things to be that bad so quickly, it just lets me know the Shan Kingdom has been in decline for a lot longer than what we anticipated.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just been a gradual decline, but they're still putting on front that everything is good and fine when it's not.
This sounds like America.
I mean, mine's might, but you have all these people who are not really sane to be in office. Yeah, that sounds about right. But, but I guess like the other thing, getting back to the ending episode about Lisa Su is wondering why Tan Tai Jin hasn't written her back yet. And he was about to write her back, but he was concerned about his handwriting changing. I'm like, why did it change?
Yeah.
Is it because of him like doing those letters that got intercepted that maybe it changed on purpose or what?
Oh,
I don't know.
That's a good point. I hadn't even thought about that. Because when he said, I can't let I can't let her know my handwriting has changed. And I'm like, why would that be a relevant thing?
And how often did you write to her in the past?
Right. Like,
I don't know. So that's why I'm just like, and I'm not sure if that was just a scene that was cut off, or that's what I'm assuming that would be. It's almost going back to that same cycle of just like, I don't know what her feelings like. Is she doing this out of love me, or is she trying to check on Sholin because he's also thinking that maybe she also still has residual feelings for Sholin. Is the reason why she's not committing to a relationship yet. So maybe that's also like the tug of war that he's going with. And so he doesn't respond to her, and also he wanted to give Crow a rest because 4 times a day, that's a little nuts. Yeah. Especially for like it being 100 miles. Yeah. So yes, 800 miles like back and forth. No, chick, you need to relax on that. And so after this, she heard that Pian and Ron, she needed to go to the front, and that she was leaving tomorrow. And so, Yeshua or Lisa Sue was like, "Well, can I come with you?" And the fox was just like, "No, he told me to tell you need to stay in the capital. Stay put." She sneaks out, and of course, the fox knew that, and so she let her walk all 100 miles of that. Let her walk for half a month ish?
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because when Tensai Jin kind of got the summons, like, oh yeah, we got to meet up with everybody at Gia Pass, he kind of disappeared. So he didn't get a chance to say bye or let her know what was going on. Right. He just kind of pieced out. And so, like, the next day, she's going to bring him food because that was kind of their exchange. Like, she would bring him food, he would bring her gifts and stuff. And that's where the meteorite came from.
The meteorite. Yeah. The little Jin.
Little Jin. I was like, oh, that's cute. But, like, she came in with her little food and was like, wait a minute, where are you? Where did he go? And there was no note, no nothing. So she's, like, questioning, like, well, maybe he doesn't like me. Maybe he... And you can tell she's, like, really disappointed. But, at the same time, she's worried about the love spikes. And so this, again, that weird dance of, like...
duty versus...
I generally miss him, but...
And she generally does miss him. But she's like, but... my mission, I'm like, girl, you caught feelings too. I know it's kind of hard to consign when you're just like, no, it's like being a spy and you fall for your target or whatever. It's like in that same realm. And I get that that's like the back and forth that she's dealing with, but it's like you're catching feelings. You have to like form the spikes as a kind of contingency plan. Right. So we are going to, I guess, see when he's going to find her out.
Yes. And one last thing we had talked about was the love spikes themselves. She was kind of sitting at her table.
Oh, yes.
And then got pricked by one, and you could see, like, blood, and we're like, ooh, love hurts. Love
hurts. I think it's also, like, a foreshadowing of sorts. If she was to go through with her eventual slaying of him, if that was, like, what's supposed to go down the pipe, it's not going to go without some emotional harm to herself.
She's going to hurt
because of that. Because I'm like, she's already enraptured in feelings for him. There's no escaping that. I don't know about, like, unless y'all are sadists regarding your own relationship, it hurts me whenever my husband's hurt. So it's like, and like anybody that you care about hurts.
It was interesting when he reminded her that it was her birthday. And it's like, oh yeah, you used to cry at your mother's memorial all the time. And
the only time she actually had emotions, like evil Yeshua.
Right. But yeah, we're about to see what happens when Susu, she's entered the camp. She looks dirty.
She needs a bath. She needs it bad.
Yeah.
Because they weren't stopping to do like bathing in lakes or anything like that. But I guess what's your complete prediction for episode 22?
Oh,
I'm sorry, 21. We're on 21.
21. Yeah, I think we're gonna see more of Bing Chun kind of like
scheming.
Yeah, she doesn't get a lot of screen time in her like these episodes, but it's just enough to give us a picture of what's kind of coming. I don't know if we're gonna get the full fruition of everything that's building right now or in this episode. I'm just like ready to start the next because watching them pine for each other and be like, oh, I miss them too. Like, I just want to see more of that and see him light up when he sees her. It's like, I told you not to be here. Like, what are you doing?
I know, right?
Knowing full well she probably would want to sneak out anyway.
But it's going to be a playful scolding. And so it's like, yeah, you shouldn't be here, but I'm glad that you did come. Because she has been marching. Of course, he hasn't received letters from her yet.
And he was getting nervous.
And so,
Yeah, I like Bayou. He's cool.
And he is so cool. And Tendai Jin's up there like, how come she's never emailed? Well, not emailed. Like, crow melt me. How come she hasn't crow melt me yet? Bayou was like, you know how to speak to birds and stuff like that too. You can check in on her too. And he's just like, shut your mouth.
That's not the point.
It's not the point. It's the fact that she hasn't done it, and I'm concerned. And
I like getting those letters. I know I complained about them, but it makes me feel loved and needed.
Does she even care for me a little bit? I'll take a little bit right now. Like, to her, to him, like, that is still a dedication of care, a constant thing of care. So, yeah, I think let's just go ahead, march on, no pun intended, into episode 21, and we will let you know more of our thoughts.